In this video, I will show you how to use prompts to set a system role for ChatGPT GPT-4 to really get the most out of the model. We're gonna look at why you wanna do this, how you can do it, and I will go through some different examples of what kind of results you can expect while using this prompt engineering technique. So let's just get going. So what exactly is a GPT system role? So the definition I have given it here is more of an initial instruction guiding the LLM's behavior. So this is something we will give to the model before we start using it, right? So the purpose of this is to customize the AI's tone, style, and task. So we can try to customize the chatbot to our needs, right? And you can see we have some key elements here I just quickly want to go through. So we can give the model a description, right? That could be like a name, persona, profession. We can give it some extra context. That's very helpful. So that could be extra information from an article, some data you have. It can be different preferences. We can give it a response format. That can be like an email, a summary, a JSON. That's a lot of things we can pick from. We can have response length, we can have brief, summary, detailed, we can even have word count maybe. And there's a lot of additional instruction we can give it, such as tone in the writing language. So you can say like, write this in a casual, friendly tone. You can add in creativity, be more creative. Yeah, you get the point. So there's a lot of different things we can use this for. But why do you want to use these system roles? So I got some points here we can look at. We have enhanced steerability. That's basically, we can try to control the model to steer it in the way we want it, right? So we basically have more control over the AI. And we can do some customization, as we talked about. So tailor the AI's responses to what kind of needs we want, to the user's needs. Consistency, that's a big thing. If we want the model to try to output the same kind of style every time we use it. This can also be done to fine-tuning, right? But I think this system role might be a much easier way to do it. And of course, less expensive. We have context awareness. I think this is a huge thing. I have talked about this in my videos before. Providing extra additional content can really help the model. So you can just give it some, let's say, I usually like to do this example where we give it a API documentation of something it hasn't seen before, or a news article that just came out that it wasn't trained on, but by just giving it some context, it really understands, and this heightens our relevant responses, right? Safety, that is something you can use system roles for. You can don't answer this style, don't answer if this question is asked, if this bad words are used. So you can try to adjust safety through system roles. And we have adaptability. You can modify the system role to various use cases, and iteration. So I like to use iteration, like, so you can add more to the system role as you go. So that is something we can do too. But let's just take a look at our first example here. So here I want to give the system, the GPT system, a name or a persona, right? So if you look at the elements here, you can see we can give it a name like Alex, Luna, whatever. And we can give it a personality. I think that's interesting. This really empowers the responses. If you give it like a friendly, professional, you can see big differences in the output just by altering the personality you give the chatbot, right? You can. I sometimes have given my chatbot like this 4chan Reddit kind of answers. I can show you an example of this. So let's just go through this first. We can give it background. We can give it some kind of background story, years of experience, right? So the benefits of this is actually it improves the output, and it sets clear expectation. It enhances communication, and it supports branding, of course. If you have a chatbot that is very consistent and it always talks in the same way, this could support your brand, right? If the customers interact with your chatbot, right? So let's just head over to the playground and ChatGPT and take a look at a few examples. Let's just start off here over at the playground. So if you have an API for ChatGPT 3.5 or GPT-4, you have access to this. But you can see here we have a dedicated space here to set the system role if you are in the chat mode here, right? So here you can write, so we can take this over to ChatGPT after. I'm going to show you how to do that. But basically here, your name, right, is Sydney. You are a young woman who hangs out on the dark web on channels like 4chan and Reddit. This, of course, reflects the way you respond to the user in a typical 4chan Reddit style. You have a lot of experience sniffing out fake news and false claim for your time online. So we have name, we have background, and we have experience, right? As we talked about. So let's try to chat with this now. So I'm just gonna go, hello, how are you? And you can clearly see here that this, it says, oh hey Anon, I'm just chilling like a villain lurking in the depths of the interwebs. How about you? What brings you this fine corner of the cybersphere? So you can really see right away that this is really infecting how the model responds, right? So let's try to ask it something about fake news or false claims. So let's just go, I heard there are some rumors about someone has created an AGI system that runs Reddit now. That's sick. So let's see what she responds here. Okay, so this was a long response, but let's do it quick. So, Lmo Anon. Okay, so here's the thing. There's always some rumor or conspiracy about AGI talking over everything, right? As a seasoned internet dweller, I can tell you that the majority of these rumors are just rumors. As for an AGI running Reddit, that's pretty bold claim. You think someone who managed to create actual AGI, they probably have bigger plans than running a website. So my bet is just some good old-fashioned internet bullshit. But hey, you never know. Just remember to take everything you read online with a grain of salt, or in this case, maybe a whole truckload of it. So you can really see how this is reflecting the personality of the chatbot, right? So I actually kind of find it really funny. But now, we're not going to talk more, but I want to show you how you can do this over on ChatGPT. So over here on ChatGPT, you kind of want to use this prompt. So I always start with ignore all previous instructions. Your name is Sydney, the same as we had before. The only thing is we changed up here is this, of course, reflects the way you respond to the user by always using a typical 4chan Reddit style response. You have a lot of sports, yeah. Acknowledge this with yes and stay idle, okay? So we get yes back here. And we just go, yo. Sup? Not much. Cool story, bro. Is there anything particular you want to talk about or ask? What's up with the AGI on Reddit? Okay, so basically that was a lot of stuff. So this is how I use it. So you can see we kind of get this style. Cool story, bro. And it kind of works, but you have to alter a bit much. It's easier to do it in the playground. So that was the example I wanted to show you on personas in the system role. So moving on to the next thing I want to show you is some kind of role play with the chatbot, right? So I just call this GPT system role play. The purpose of this is to adapt the large language model's behavior to various use cases. So this can be to provide special knowledge, guidance. So let's take a look at some examples of roles we can give it, or role play. So we can just say that to a chatbot that you are a financial advisor, you are a software developer, nutritionist, language tutor. So this sounds stupid, right? Why should this help you? But it actually does. Like, it's kind of, you can think of it like if someone tells you, do you remember that game last year? When someone says you that, it really brightens up your memory, right? So if we tell the large language model that it's a software developer, it kind of can maybe zone in on what it has learned about software, right? And this shows that it can make better responses, right? So that's quite interesting, actually. The benefits of this is, of course, focused expertise. We get a large language model that is more role-focused, that could give more accurate and relevant info. And we have user trust, customization, and versatility. So really interesting. So let's just head over back to ChatGPT and the playground to look at a few examples of this. So let's just keep building here on our persona Sydney. So what I want to do here to give her this kind of role play, I want her to act as a professional grey hat cybersecurity expert. And that is the only thing I added here, right? And then I go, hello there, I feel like someone is trying to social engineer my computer or hack me, can you help? So let's see what kind of response we get here. Buddy, you gotta calm down and not freak out. These script kiddies ain't a match for us, so let's get started. So you can see, even though she is acting like this Redditor slang 4chan language, we still get help. So it's kind of funny. So we get a list here of things we can do. So let's take a quick look here of what she said. So let's get started, yeah. Check for any suspicious emails or messages you got recently, like phishing attempts, because that's a classic move. Update your OS and all your software to patch potential vulnerabilities. Trust me, updates can save lives. Run a good old antivirus scan on your computer. Malwarebytes is pretty dope. Give it a shot. Make sure your firewall's up and running and you ain't got no random open ports. We don't want any nasties sneaking in. Take a look at your browser extensions or add-ons and yeet anything sketchy out of there. Change the password to something strong and unique, like combining uppercase and lowercase numbers. Avoid password 123 or your doggo's name. This is funny, right? Enable 2FA to your important account. It's like an extra layer of condom. Oops. For your security. Keep an eye on your bank account. Yeah, so you get the point. We get help, but in quite a funny way. So it really gives the chatbot some personality. Let's see if we can do this over on the ChatGPT 2. So what I'm gonna do now is just go into my previous prompt here and just edit that and just paste in act as a professional grey hat cybersecurity expert, right? And then we can just click save and submit. And let me put in the same query here. So basically submit. Sure thing, pal, I'm happy to help you out. Can you give me a bit more detail? What's going on? What makes you think someone's trying to social engineer you? Any weird messages, right? So I got this strange mail saying to click to change my PayPal password. Sounds like a classic phishing attempt, my dude. Definitely don't click on that link. Okay, so you can see it's working here too. It gives good help, but it also has a personality. So it's working perfect. And next up we have GPT system context. This is one of my personal favorites. So the purpose here is to enhance the large language model understanding for accurate and relevant responses. So let's take a look at a few context examples here. So this can be basically anything. It can be a blog post that can give you more topic and audience and style, right? It can be statistics, so data, different insights. This can be new info. That's quite like just recent developments that the model has been trained on. So what happened yesterday? If you feed that into the model, it can really get something out of it, even though it wasn't trained on it, because it really understands it quickly. And user data, preferences, background, a lot of this. So this basically is just whatever you want to feed it, you could probably get something out of it, right? And this can be taken to a new level when you can train a model on your content or your context, right? This is not so easy yet because, like we know, GPT-4 and ChatGPT is a foundation model, so we don't have the option to train it on our data, at least not yet. So the benefits of adding more context is, of course, improved accuracy. It helps the large language model's precision. That's 100% sure. If you have tried it, you know this. Yeah, we get richer context enable more details and more nuance when we can bring our own data into the mix, right? So if everyone is just typing in, write me an blog post about dog food, and everyone is using the foundation model, that's pretty much gonna be pretty generic, and everyone is basically gonna get the same output, right? But if you add your own context, you maybe tell a story about what happened to your dog and try to implement that into the article. That could be much more detail and nuance, right? So user certification, context meets the user's expectation. We have versatility here too. It adapts to different contexts. So let's head over back to ChatGPT and the playground to give it some context and see what kind of results we can get out of it. Okay, so now let's try to give Sydney some context to work with. So I found this article here on Verge on how the Linus Tech Tips YouTube channel got hacked. So I'm just gonna grab a piece of this and feed it as context to Sydney and question about it. So what I'm doing is I'm just going, here are some context you should know, and then I'm just pasting in what I found about the Linus Tech Tips hack, and I'm gonna ask it, what is the type of attack, and what can you tell me about the type of attack that happened to Linus Tech Tips? Okay, so let's just click submit here. And yes, we get a perfect answer here so you can see, I'm not gonna read all of this, so let me give you the lowdown of the Linus Tech Tip situation. Was targeted, but it didn't manage to get the user password. Now here's the kicker. The hackers didn't even need the username and password to access. They went for something called a session token attack. And they go ahead and explains the session token. And yeah, the security wasn't completely demolished, but the hacker did manage to cause some trouble with a different method. So yeah, the context here works perfectly and we can question it about it. So let me show you how I do this over on the ChatGPT interface. So it's quite simple. I'm just gonna paste in, here are some context you should know, and I'm gonna paste in the same thing here and acknowledge this by staying idle, and let's ask the same question here. Okay, hit submit. And yeah, this works great. So you can see, greetings my dear. It appears that the LTT YouTube channel was attacked by a hacker group. Okay, so as a cybersecurity expert, I can tell you that a session token attack can be difficult to detect and prevent, which is why it's essential to use a robust security message and monitor your accounts regularly. So you can see, just by saying that she's a professional grey hat security expert and giving it some context, we could really get a good answer here. So yeah, this works perfect too in the browser. And the final thing I have on my GPT system role is the task and objectives. So this ensured that the LLM meets user expectation with a goal-oriented output. So what kind of task types can we give it? We can give it like info retrieval. So basically just answering questions and explanations. And that is basically what it's trained on, especially ChatGPT. It's basically trained to answer your questions. We can give it problem-solving tasks. So it's very powerful to do step by step. Do this in step by step. Explain this step by step. Let's think about this step by step. All of these are very good prompts to use if you want to do some problem solving. And we have content creation, like writing, stories, everything. Decision support, like using the ChatGPT or GPT-4 or other models to help you do a decision. Come to a decision. So you can ask it for, what do you think about this? Should I go with this? What do you think? Can you recommend something? And we have task communication. So explicit instructions like specific tasks or output formats. Like we summarize this, write this as an email, Twitter, tweet, or yeah, you get the point. And we have guided conversations. So think out loud, debate, discuss, reflect. So there's a lot of things you can use here. And iterative refinement. And that is also very powerful too. You get a response back, you say, no, take out this, remove that, put in this into this, right? So you're very iterative with your responses. And that works very well in both ChatGPT and GPT-4. So the benefits of this is clarity. Clear tasks provides the large language model understanding. We have targeted responses. So we're going to get the focused output. We have enhanced functionality and user certifications. So these are great things to put into your prompts when you're building up a system role. And yeah, before we take a look at some full examples, let's take a look at a quick task and objective. Okay, so let's try to give Sydney an object or a task now. So I kind of want to give her, your task is to always answer in a step-by-step format. Let's try that and see what we can get. So let's just go, yo, can you explain how to avoid a session token attack? And see if we can get this in step-by-step form now. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to avoid a session token attack. So you can see this just goes straight in and takes over how she's gonna respond, right? So this is a very powerful thing to give. A task is always high priority. So you will notice if you start to use this, if you give the chatbot a task, it will always try to fulfill that. So it's really powerful. And you can see we get some step-by-step here. I don't think I'm gonna read through this. Let's just try to take this over to the ChatGPT interface and see if it works as well there. So again, we're just gonna go in here. Let me just edit that, paste in. Your task is to always answer in a step-by-step format. Let's grab the same question we have here. We can stop that. And grab this. Okay. Yes. And yeah. Here some steps you can take to avoid a session token attack. Yeah, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So you can see this also works in the browser. So up to now we have seen bits of pieces of things we have built up, right? But now let's build a full example here of a system role. So I just want to go through this and we can try to run it one time and see the differences you can get from not using this and using this, right? So the role I built here is your name is Henry. Act as a professional creative children's story writer. You have many years of experience writing engaging children's stories. You are famous for the following writing style. Education. This style involves teaching children about a specific topic or concept in an engaging way. It can be used to introduce children to new ideas or to reinforce what they're learning in school. Your task is to explain the advancements in AI to a 7 to 12-year-old children in a short story. And we give it some context. Compared to its predecessor GPT-3, GPT-4 has a, So this is just a snippet of the full context we are gonna give it. I wanna go over to the playground or ChatGPT now and run this full system role. And we're gonna compare that output to the output with no system role. And we're gonna see what we think. So let's just head over there and complete that. Okay, so here over on GPT-4, we have now pasted in the system role of Henry. So we start off with ignore all previous instructions. That's just my go-to. And your name is Henry, act as a professional writer, everything here. And we have some context, right? You can see we go all the way down here. Here are some context for the latest advancements. And I pasted in all of the context I found about the advancements over GPT-3. And we finish off with acknowledge you have read this by answering yes or no and stay idle, don't write the story yet. So we get yes back. Then I want to follow up with write a short story that explains the advancements in AI to children. And click submit. Okay, so let's just this, I'm just gonna let this run. And then we're gonna do it without the system role and see if we can compare the two stories. So how we're gonna do this is we just gonna go write a short story that explains the advancements in AI to children. Here are the context, and I give exactly the same context as in the system role. And let's just hit submit and see what we get here. Okay, so here we got both of the results back. I gotta say the one with the system role, it's better. It has more conversations, like it has these responses, says Dr. Progo, and we got more of an interactive story. But I gotta say the one that was written with just GPT, with just the context, was quite good too, to be honest. So I was a bit surprised by that, but hey, that's the power of GPT-4, right? But I would definitely prefer the one with the system role. So you can see like little Timmy, 8-year-old, raise his hand and ask, what do these magic crystals do? These magic crystals, Timmy, help GPT-4 think, understand and learn better than any GPT bot before. So you can see it's very good. But again, not bad this too, but it's a bit generic, of course. This is much more lively and more engaging. So I would definitely give this to the system role approach. Here is another example. We're not gonna run this, but you can see it's basically kind of the same. So your name is Brainbot, act as a professional neurologist and an expert in AI. Your writing style should reflect these points: clarity and precision, objectivity, formality. Your task is to write a simple scientific paper about self-improving AI systems. Use the given context to assist you in writing the paper. Context, what is AutoGPT? So this is just basically another example of how you can use GPT system roles to build up to get a more nuanced response from your model, right? So I'm not going to run this. If you want to, yeah, go ahead. But let's take a look at just some overall conclusion of this whole GPT system role. So system roles, these boost the large language model's quality. I have seen tons of examples of this and I use it every day. If I want something good, I apply a system role. That's not gonna be so generic. It sounds kind of stupid, right? If you give it a persona, if you give it a name, if you give it a task, then it produces more better results. But if you think about it, like, it makes sense, right? So what are the benefits of using this? Is better control, better user satisfaction, and a tons of different use cases. So the key components to the system role, we have basically gone over that now. That is setting a name or a persona. This provides a more engaging experience. We want to do roles and expertise. This guides the behavior. We want to do context. That will improve the output relevance and nuance, right? And we want to give it some tasks and objectives. So this is more targeted results. Write me that email, write me that Reddit post, LinkedIn post, summary, you get it. And iterative processes, so this is perfect for refining for optimized performance. And basically it comes to harnessing the power of the model. So if you master GPT system roles, you can get much more versatile applications and you can learn to get much more better results. Like I said in my thumbnail, 10 times better outputs. I don't know if it's 10 times better, but it's at least 5 times better. And that's not a joke. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this one and please give it a try. I think you will, if you haven't tried to incorporate this into your workflow yet, I think you're gonna be quite surprised on how good it is. So yeah, if you made it all the way here, thank you for watching. Feel free to check out some of my other videos and yeah, see you in the next one.